my paccar engine did blow up with 700 miles on it the second day I had it. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the other problems I had. My last paccar engine, it was my first paccar engine I had. I ended up putting 600,000 on it, and around 500,000 I was doing my pre-trip, looking underneath the hood, and I noticed right around here, right around this fuel filter, all these fuels, like right around here, it was just leaking a little bit of fuel around the primer. And you can see all this. This is all the fuel system here. Got the fuel primer, fuel filter, fuel lines, rail, and everything. And it was right around here. It started. This one, it looks like oh, here it is. Right there, right around there. It started leaking just a little bit of fuel. And I called my company and I said, look, looks like my fuel line is leaking just a little bit of fuel, but I think I can make it back to the shop. It's okay, great. 200 miles down the road in the middle of nowhere, Nevada on I-80. I start smelling fuel. And so I called I got on the phone, called my company, and all of a sudden I get the stop engine light, and then my engine cuts. I'm going down the road, I'm going down the hill, and my engine cuts off. But I kept it in gear, so I still had my power steering and everything. And if you keep it in gear while the engine's off, the engine will still turn, but at least you'll have some power steering. Help you out just a little bit. But what happened was I opened up the hood, and this whole fuel line right here and that little fuel pump popped right up, broke this line, and shot up and hit the hood even. And what actually happens in there, similar to how you have push rods in some older engines, you got the cam pushing up the push rod, and that's pushing down the valves, open up the valves. It's a thing with older cars or whatever, but anyway, the new cars, the cam just directly pushes down the valve. But that's basically how a diesel engine works, especially in a semi-truck. I don't know about pickups, but we have these things called step-up pumps. We got the regular pumps that just have enough juice to get the fuel out of the tank, and once it gets to here, we get to the high-pressure fuel pump. And what it is, it's cam-driven. And so on the cam, it's got a little push rod here right underneath that fuel pump. And that gives it enough power to give it 10,000 PSI, 15,000 PSI, whatever it is, to be able to squirt that injector into the combustion chamber right at top dead center, because that's how a diesel works. It injects the fuel right at the highest compression point, right in the compression stroke. And but that shot up right through my hood because the spring on it seized up. And I think what happened was actually all this stuff on my first paccar engine was all plastic. I'm not joking. All the fuel lines and everything, it was all plastic. Even this, and I think this still is plastic. But what I ended up having air in the fuel lines, and it was such a problem. They just replaced everything with aluminum. Makes you wonder why it didn't come from the factory like that. And what I think happened is they replaced that fuel pump, and those bolts are stretch bolts. So you can only tighten them once and to a specific torque. If you re-tighten them to that same torque, they're not going to be torqued correctly. And I think what happened was that weakened them. And even over 500,000 miles, it was fine, but eventually it blew up. Either that, or might have been an oiling issue, might have just been age. But in my opinion, 500,000 is a little, soon for a fuel pump to fail, especially catastrophically, in my opinion. But that is one of the biggest issues I had with my paccar engine. I've had quite a few other issues, no doubt, but that's just one example, something to look after. And like I said, it might have been just my engine, might have been a fluke. But who knows?